think we're going.
I think we are.
What a great show. Why do we do this?
I don't know. Have you been watching the Derby?
No, not much.
You've not watched any of it? I think it's only the banks at the minute. I've been watching a bit.
Yeah, the One Pocket is now underway. So I've watched. I don't know. I play Matchroom. Matchroom has ruined pool for me because I no longer really am interested in watching banks or One Pocket. I've probably watched like 15 matches of banks or One Pocket now in like 2 years. It just doesn't interest me anymore.
Yeah, it's not. It's just not what we're used to watching. There was some of the stream for that tournament in Indonesia on the other day, and I just skipped over it as well. I think it was 10 ball, but I just couldn't be bothered watching it.
Well, I'm okay with 10 ball. I still like 10 ball. I think that's like a professional game, but I just don't look at One Pocket and Bank Pool anymore as like a professional pool game. I look at it as like some like side gimmicky carnival game or something. And I know that's not the case. It's just like I'm not interested. Something about it, I'm just not interested anymore. It's like if I'm watching 9 ball, I feel like this 9 ball now means something. If it doesn't mean something in this match, it means something in the grand scheme of things. Where
exactly,
there's an overall ranking, there's an overall like plan. There's something there, and this when you watch this One Pocket or banks, it's like okay, well this is going to move them on to the next match, but whoever wins this tournament, they're going to get a nice paycheck, but that's it. It means nothing. There's no lasting. Yeah, it's just I don't know. You want to, but Chris, you want to know what does mean a lot?
Well,
this awesome Magic Mind, which I'm about to take because I'm really, really, really tired, and I'm really, really, really. I'm just dragging today. It was a long weekend away, and I was at a tournament all weekend, and I got about 3 hours of sleep a night for about 3 days, and it just didn't. When you're just dragging butt like that for 3 days straight, it's really hard to get back onto a normal rhythm. So I'm going to rely on my Magic Mind to help me out.
I saw a picture of you, and you didn't look as hungover as what I would have expected, to be honest. But I can't really tell when it was taken. It could have been taken before you'd had a drink. So who knows?
I'm confused. You just expect me to be drinking all the time, just hammered, pissed, drunk all the time?
At a pool tournament, yeah.
I actually don't drink and play pool at the same time. I won't drink and play. I will if it doesn't matter as much, like if it's a fun tournament, but
So you didn't drink the whole time you were there?
Friday? No. I had a couple drinks when we got back, or when we were done. And then Saturday was just kind of like whatever. So I kind of like slowly drank all day long. Basically, I had like one drink every maybe hour. So nothing really. I mean, I wasn't even anything by the end of the night. But we played all the way up to like 1 a.m. I think the first day we got done at like 1:30 a.m. And the second day, I think we got done at like 2:15 a.m. And we were back at 9 a.m. both days.
What was it you were playing in?
The ACS Midwest Championships.
Okay, who are they? ACS, yes. What's that? No, what's that?
The American Q Sports Alliance.
That would be ACA,
it's like a
wouldn't
league.
it?
It's just something like that. I don't know. I saw a little board. Don't ask me these things.
But on the midget tables.
Yeah, on the real pool tables.
Wow.
Midget pool tables. You started your career on an English 8-ball table,
which is infinitely more difficult, more respectable than those things that you play on. What are they called? Valley.
They're called real pool tables.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you see Ultimate Pool are going to America? Did you see that?
I did. Yeah, what did I see? This is my brain not working because I'm just dragging. Didn't they sign like a couple of pool halls or something like that? Or
I didn't see that bit, but it's all going to be played on your tables. Those 7-foot things. It's all going to be played on them. It's not going to be played on English tables, which is I don't really get it. I do. I like what they do in the UK and stuff. Isn't
that just 8-ball?
Yeah. So I don't get it. But I think so. I think what they're going to do is take the tournaments that they do in the UK and just do them in America, but
on the real pool tables.
without professionals, I guess. Which they do it. The main product they sell over here is with professionals, but they're going to do it in the US on your tables without professionals, I think. So I don't get it at the minute, but I think that's on purpose. I think they haven't released everything on purpose just to keep everybody sort of guessing a little bit.
Well, I mean, I like pool content, so.
But if it's just another promoter, you've got too many of those already, right? That do the amateur leagues. You've got way too many of them already.
We have plenty of promoters, but very, 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 very few good ones. So,
yeah,
whatever that means.
I just don't see how they'd get. I don't get at the minute how they're going to get any buy-in from players. Why would anybody move to play in one of their leagues or events when people are already, there's league night every night in America, right? Jason was telling me in his pool hall,
and then
it's
some.
like league night every single weeknight. It's league. So I don't know what the plan is with the ultimate pool stuff. How they're going to get buy-in to play in the events. Why would anybody move from tap or something to play in that? I don't get it at the moment, but we should maybe try and talk to them, see what they're saying.
Seems like you're the perfect point guy for that.
No, Mike's the guy with the end. Everybody, Mike's the respected one.
Well,
where is he
here
these
we
days?
are, anyways. Which Mike?
Pinozo.
I don't know. He's off doing his own thing, probably working away. Yeah, I already drank some Magic Mind. Where'd I put the pot today? See? I drank some Magic Mind. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Love me some Magic Mind.
Nice.
All right. So, I don't know. What do we got today? We got more players that signed. You want to talk some actual real pool now, I guess?
Yep.
So we got a bunch more players that signed. I think Matchroom listened to our podcast 2 weeks ago. We didn't do one last week because there really wasn't anything going on last week. So we ended up, Matchroom ended up listening to our podcast, and they're like, oh yeah, those are good players to get involved. We would have never thought of those. Let's go try to see if we can get them signed. I think that's exactly what happened. And then they went out and got them signed. So where did we leave off? Yeah, definitely. Where did we get signed off last time? I believe the last person we talked about was, let's see here. How far down do we go? I'll tell you what, yeah. Going through all of these, it's literally everybody that we had any sort of question marks on.
Yeah.
And so I think we left off at Chris Melling, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
or maybe we didn't. Maybe we left off at Alex Paguline.
It was it was later than that. Let me see. Had we got to any of the posts yet that had multiple players in? Or are we still on single?
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Moritz Neuhausen, did we get to him?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I think so too. So Sanjin Pelovanovic, I don't think we got to him. So maybe that's where we started.
I spoke to someone about Chan Jun Lin, but maybe that was
that had definitely happened after the podcast.
Okay. Where are you seeing Sanjin? I don't see him.
On the page, January 8th at 7:52 a.m.
Oh, I don't know what's going on my Instagram feed. It's all over the place.
Yeah, I don't use Instagram. I'm not smart enough to figure it out. Well, Sanjin Pelovanovic, any surprises?
No, that's a good one. Do you know what? I think we did talk about him. I think we did talk about him. But yeah, no, that's obviously one of the better. Him and
Alaska.
Shit. Thank you. They're two important ones, aren't they? They're probably the two. They're the two youngest people on the tour, along with Victor, who are capable of winning big events. I know Riku and there's a few others that are maybe younger, but the actual ones that are capable of winning and the youngest would be probably those three. So
then Mieszko Fortunski.
Yep, beast. So was that one of the ones you said was or wasn't going to come across from Poland?
We didn't really talk much about Mieszko, but I never would have said it. I expected him to sign.
Okay. Yeah, so he's obviously a great one to have across. And then, I mean,
Alex Pagulayan. Oh, go ahead.
So Wojciech and a couple of the other guys.
Daniel and Wojciech are not signing.
And what about Simon? Is it Simon Corral? He's a good player.
Don't know about him.
What about some of the
older ones? Well, they also still have to be on the world, or they also still have to be in the top 129 or whatever it is.
128, yeah.
128, yeah.
So what about?
So I don't know how many of those players are.
Every Polish guy you could name is probably in the top 128. Anyone that's known,
they probably should be, but
I think they probably are. But what about
a lot of players in here?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think which ones we're definitely going to miss out on then from the polls.
Wojciech and Daniel. That I can name off the top of my head. I mean anything past Konrad, Mieszko, and Victor. I don't see and obviously Wojciech and Daniel. I don't see why any of the Polish players would probably want to.
So Kubica and a couple of those older guys probably won't.
I don't know, but I mean, there's going to be at some point in time these EPBF tournaments, these Predator Las Vegas Opens. These are going to get a lot weaker when you have all these players out of it. There's still going to be some pretty good money in some of these tournaments.
Yeah.
At some point in time, someone's going to have to just kind of hang out and be like, all right, well, I'm going to go play in all these events and just mop them up.
Yeah.
There's going to be some people that are doing that.
12. There are 12 Polish players in the top 128, which is kind of crazy, isn't it?
I mean, it doesn't surprise me because they just don't play that much.
That are in the top 128, I'm saying.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That's good, you're saying. You're saying that's good or bad?
That there are 12 Polish players in the top. Yeah, I think that's really good.
Oh, I agree, but I think that there's probably another 12 that deserve to be in there, but they just don't travel enough.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you go to any single one of these Euro tours and there's 12 Polish players in the final 64, and that's just Europe.
Yeah.
But you've never seen any of those names go to bigger events like the U.S. Open or the Spanish Open or anything like that. I mean, you barely ever see any of these Polish players' names.
How many spots do they have free on the federation for funding? Do you know anything about it?
I don't know. Not off the top of my head. I don't know.
Well, if some come across the Matchroom, you'd hope a couple of others that maybe don't get to travel so much fall into the funding bracket, get to go.
Yeah. Get an opportunity to prove themselves. Yeah.
Kaplan was a guy I was trying to think of. I couldn't remember his name.
Oh, Tomas Kaplan?
Yeah, he's a great player.
Yeah, he's a really good player. All right, so I guess Alex Pagulayan really dragging his career out at a high level. I'm not even going to lie. I thought Alex Pagulayan was not done about 5 years ago, or 3 to 5 years ago, but I honestly thought he was going to be more like rotating to like a specialty one pocket player. And maybe he tried to, and there's nobody in the world that'll play him because there's nobody stupid enough and hates their money enough. But
yeah, killed his own action.
Yeah, he's definitely had a bit of a resurgence. I mean, he's had a couple of deep finishes, and I don't think he's lost to Josh Filler in like 10 years. He's apparently the only player that can beat Josh.
Did he double dip him in one of the tournaments? No, he beat him in the Worlds and then lost to him later on, I think, or the other way around.
No, I think he beat him twice.
Did he beat him twice?
I think he beat him in the into the B side, and I think he beat him later on too in the final 64.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. So yeah, he can obviously still do it, but I thought he might have gone and played some of the WPA events because he'd be the type of guy, who could go and if he knuckled down again, he's one of the older guys that could probably get back to being somewhere close to at their absolute best.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't know. Let's move on from him. Chris Melling. This is one of those situations where, I guess this was the first big surprise for a lot of us, at least for me. I thought, given he kind of spreads himself off across a bunch of different disciplines. He plays a lot of highball, and he is, he's a great highball player. And there's a lot more money there than there is in pool at this moment. I thought there's actually a real chance he wouldn't sign. You know
So,
Chris a little bit better than I do. What do you think?
well, it just remains to be seen whether he's actually had to give up his Joy contract to do this. And I hope he hasn't.
There definitely is some rumors that I've heard that Joy isn't as excited about this ban as they're not as behind the WPA as what you might expect.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. And between China and Qatar, that's where the WPA are going to draw most, if not like probably 80% of the prize fund from. So if Joy were to say, you're not telling us what to do, I don't know where that kind of leaves the WPA. I mean, if anybody can push them around, it probably is Joy. So yeah.
Well, when you're advertising, you have a $3 million tour, or whatever they're advertising, and about 2.8 million of that is Joy. Yeah, you probably can say what you want.
So a couple of weeks ago, the British players, 14 or 15 of us who pay our fees, we got a letter from the British Pool Federation, or whatever, I think that's what they're called, saying, here's a letter from the WPA. Give it a read.
I like how let's not skip over the fact that you pay this organization money to exist with it, and you don't even know what it is. You don't even know what their name is.
I think it is Federation, yeah. But anyway, so we got this letter from the WPA, and it was an invitation for delegates from each country to go to the Joy Masters in China, all expenses paid. So they could have a get together, a shindig, whatever you want to call it, all expenses paid, WPA delegates meeting in China. And along with that, there was a bit at the bottom of the letter saying the WPA are inviting you to bring one of your players, all expenses paid. Now, notwithstanding the fact that everybody has already spoken to Joy and decided whether they're going to play or not anyway, without the WPA getting involved, is like the WPA jumping on the Joy bandwagon, trying to get, trying to get some shine out of it is just shite. It's just you wouldn't expect anything less from them really at this point. Just bananas, but yeah,
grasping at whatever they can hold on to. So yeah, I guess the Chris Melling situation and anybody else who's going to be involved with the high ball, which we're going to be talking about Chang Jung Lin in just a couple minutes, is that's kind of it, right? It's just whether or not they're going to lose that Joy contract or being excluded from them.
But it's just Joy, so you've still got Star as well. So Star over in China, and well,
there's a few of them, aren't there?
Yeah, but if you're Chris, you can probably there's just the big ones are Joy and Star. And Star are called Xing Pai as well. So there's two different names for them, but I'd imagine Chris is probably somebody who can literally pick up the phone to Star, who aren't WPA affiliated, and say, would you like to sign me on a contract to play in your tournaments? And they'd probably bend over backwards and wire them some money on the spot. But for everybody else, it won't work like that. But,
sure.
Yeah.
Well, Mark Beisterbosch, I think we actually all kind of decided he probably wasn't going to sign if we had to make our prediction. And it just shows how, I mean, it's one of those situations where it's going to be very interesting to see what happens once March 1st comes around and the WPA actually sticks to this or not. I have heard that there's some players that have signed strictly under the assumption that the WPA ban will not go through.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if this is one of those.
There's also
they don't want to give up their spot.
Well, it's also the individual federations as well. So I'm signed to play for a team in the Dutch National League. So I go over like twice a year or something and play in matches. And I got told by somebody, if you sign with Matchroom, you can't play in the Netherlands anymore. So I was like, it's a bit shit. A couple of trips to Amsterdam a year is good. And then I got another message. I think I might have been talking to Nick actually, Vandenberg, and I'm pretty sure it was him, said it's not all done yet. It's not all finalized. Or was it Jim who told me? I can't remember, but somebody over there told me it's not all done.
You want to know what you need today? You need some magic mind.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You need some magic mind. That'll help you out.
But yeah, so I'm not sure all the federations are exactly on board with what the WPA are saying, to be honest.
Well, that's obvious. When we have one of them on the podcast now, and Bob, every now and then.
I don't know where it leaves them if some of the federations just. Well, so the vote's gone through, right? That's what someone told me. The vote had already gone through.
Yep.
But I'd love to see the fors and against. I'd love to see the numbers because not everybody was for it. We know that.
From what I heard, I think they it was one vote.
How do you mean?
The majority was one vote. So if one vote would have flipped, it wouldn't have came out that way.
Jesus.
I'd like to see them have another vote right now and see who has buyer's remorse.
Yeah, definitely.
Be interesting. Be very interesting. Torsten Holman signs as well.
So some of those older guys that people thought are going to stay with the WPA because it might be a better chance for them to pick up a bit of cash. It's just not working out that way, is it? Not
Doesn't
happening.
look like it.
Nope.
I mean, Torsten is definitely playing a lot of pool these days, so that doesn't surprise me. He's playing just as much pool now as he did 10 years ago.
Yeah, but the big draw for him, I would have thought, with Matchroom, would be chance of playing in the World Cup. But that's kind of slid away now, hasn't it? Because Moritz is there, and he's kind of, he's playing brilliant now. So I thought that might be one thing that kind of counted in the against column for Thorsten when he was making his mind up. Probably not going to play World Cup again.
I can't imagine a situation where he ever does.
No.
I mean, and it's not because I think that Moritz plays significantly better than him. Because I think Moritz is probably playing better than Torsten at this point in his career, but it's not by much. I think the difference is we've seen Josh. You're not getting rid of Josh, right? Josh is absolutely number one in their lock every single year. And we've seen Torsten and Josh play together a bunch of times, and they've never been able to get it done. And Josh has taken Chris Wrenches to the finals and Moritz to the finals, and won with Chris, right?
Yeah.
So he's played with Torsten probably 4, 5, 6 times. However many times it was. I mean, I'm making things up at this point. It probably wasn't quite that much, I guess, because Josh is 24, 25?
I'm not sure. Yeah, he's young.
He's probably been playing at least 6 or 7 years, I would think.
I think he won the US Open in 2019 when he was 21, I think.
So that was 4 years ago. So maybe 25. So he's probably he's probably been playing the World Cup of Pool 5 years.
Yeah, something like that.
5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he's probably played with Torsten, I guess maybe only 2 or 3 times. Because I know he played 1 year with Ralph.
The thing with Moritz is he's tacking on probably 10 Fargo points to the equivalent of it every few months. He's improving so quick. He's gonna.
What is he at these days?
I'm not sure.
He's got to be in the 780s, I would think.
Yeah, he's got to be up there, and his ceiling's going to be his ceiling's definitely.
Well, ceiling's probably Josh.
So there's he's only getting better. He's only pulling away from Thorsten and maybe some of the others.
Oh yeah, he's already up to a 794.
There you go. So
he's over 800 this year probably.
Yeah, but it's a new 800. It's one of the probably. Because he's improving so much, he's not relying on historic scores, historic wins from years ago to keep his Fargo inflated. His is real, it's live, it's happened over the last few months. So,
yeah, he's an incredible player and an incredible person too. He's pretty fun to be around. All right, Ultimate Pool is not a Matchroom thing. It is its own identity in the UK.
Yeah.
All right. So Dennis Graba.
Yep.
No surprises here. That's about as obvious as it gets, I think.
Yep.
Tyler Steyer, again, also about as obvious as it gets. There's no future for Tyler outside of the WNT, in my opinion. Shane Wolford. I mean, same thing. He's been chasing Matchroom ranking points across the globe for, I don't know, 2 years straight now.
What I would have said is that maybe people around about. So if you've got Dennis and Tyler, those two guys have been, whatever way you quantify being a professional, those two have been professional for quite a long time now, you'd say, and not hit the same heights as maybe 20 or so other guys. So I thought we might get some people around about the top end of the second tier of players, if you like. I thought we might see some of them go in for the money.
I'm not sure if I mean, no offense to Tyler or Dennis. I don't know if that's the top end of the second tier.
Maybe not. It depends how you do it. So I'm saying like the top.
It depends how big you make your tiers. If you make your tiers like the top like 10 to 15 players in the world.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like 2025 or something. But yeah, I thought we might see some guys around about there who, so with Dennis and Tyler, if they won a big major, if they won the US Open or something, it would still come as a bit of a surprise, wouldn't it? So players like that,
yeah,
you'd say. So. I thought we might see some of those guys go for the money, but obviously, nobody's bitten.
Well, if they have, I mean, they're not a player that you'd be like, oh yeah, forgot about, or that person definitely does. There's probably going to be a few that fall through, and we'll hear about them as we go, and we'll be like, oh yeah, that player never signed, huh?
Yeah.
But I can't see. I mean, especially Tyler and Dennis. I can't see either of those guys ever being that type of player. I mean, they're at every event that they can basically go to. They're not looking to chase easy money because they're in the box every single weekend.
Yeah, but I don't. Again, I don't know if that's necessarily true or how true it will be in 2 or 3 years' time. Because if you don't have a benefactor and you're not making enough money from prize money to make a good living,
sure,
and there's easier money out there, it's a logical thing to look elsewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, I just don't think that either of these two players are that.
Not now, but and I'm not saying specifically those two guys either, but there'll be some around about there, I think, who might change their minds eventually.
Yeah. Well, this now we're getting into some players that really actually surprised me. I actually heard Woo Kun Lin wasn't going to be signing.
Did you?
I did. Obviously, that wasn't true, or they had a change of heart. But Woo Kun Lin is probably one of those players that goes under the radar. That is a top tier player.
I don't think for the players he is. For the people that don't play in the bigger events, but for all of the players, everybody knows who he is. No,
Well, I'm talking more like from the fan side of things.
Yeah.
I think he's one of those players that he's quite. I mean, I don't think I've ever had a conversation with him. I don't know if he speaks any English at all. If he does, I don't know if he speaks a lot of it.
I'm not sure.
But he's one of those players that are just kind of just under the radar, doesn't really get a lot of shine, doesn't really put himself out there very much, but he just gets out from everywhere. I mean, if he's not a top tier player, he's just on the other side of it. He's really an incredible player and an incredible player to watch. He's really entertaining on the table.
He can win. He can definitely win big events. I'm sure of that. He goes deep a lot of the time he plays, so I think he can win.
Yeah. I mean, I think he. I'm pretty sure he did win one of the Predator Tour stops. Whether or not you want to consider those majors, I don't see how you wouldn't be able to consider those majors unless you want to just say that the format is weird enough that you don't want to consider it that. But
I think, well, there's a difference between, if you're saying those are majors, then you'd have to call the 5 or 6 Matchroom events something else. Because I wouldn't say they're in the same bracket.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe you're right. Certainly, it's an argument to be had. I mean, depending on which Predator one we're talking about.
Oh, unless it's the Las Vegas Open or the World 10 Ball. Yeah. Maybe Puerto Rico Open.
Definitely those.
But, yeah.
Even though those are those new formats too.
I don't like watching those formats, but most of the players seem to be okay with it. I've never played it, but everybody seems to be all right with it.
Well, I mean, if you really think about it, it's not that much different, right? I mean, it's kind of a race to 8.
Yeah, but it's 10 ball on bigger pockets, different style tables.
They're not big pockets. It's 4 1/4.
What, those Predator
tables are 4 1/4.
Okay, they don't look.
I have one in my house from that tour. Yeah, they're 4 1/4.
watching the table that's in the arena at those events, which is the only one I'd watch online, they don't look at. They definitely don't look at. But there you go.
Yeah, well, they're definitely 4.25. Which is, I mean, bigger than, I mean, Matchroom was at 4.25 2 years ago, and then they went to 4 1/8, and now they're at 4. So
Big
this
difference.
was standard. This was pretty standard 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's definitely a huge difference.
Yeah.
All right. So Alaska Pasella, I can never pronounce it. Do you know how to pronounce his last name?
Pinozo says Pekelj, so go with that.
Okay, Pekelj. I've heard his name pronounced so many different ways, and I don't know which one's right. And
we'll be getting it wrong for sure. But
yeah, I'm sure if you go to his country, it's completely different too. So, this again, not a surprise to me, but it's a huge signing for the WNT. I think he was definitely one of the hottest players on tour towards the end of the last year. That wasn't a household name already. He was going deep in a lot of tournaments. I think did he make the semifinals of is it the Hanoi Open or?
Oh, I don't know about that. I think he might have made the. I think
he was in the final 4, I believe, and
the European Open. I think him and Sanjin might have played each other in like the last 16 or something, maybe. I think he might have got the quarters of one of them, maybe.
And maybe he got the quarters of the World 8 Ball too, I think. Because I think he played Wojtek Szewczak.
Okay.
Towards the end. But regardless, I mean, he was one of the hottest players on tour that are kind of battling their way through the grind of the middle of the pack. So, huge signing. Ralph Souquet, exact opposite. Ralph Souquet, 55 years old, still on tour, still playing. That is one of the ones where, I mean, if that doesn't tell you everything that you need to know, a guy that's played under the German Federation his entire career, which has spanned what, 30, 35, 40 years at this point, probably. Been playing underneath the it was the US Open, because he was just like going through smashing people at the US Open. But I mean, been playing under that federation for probably 30 years plus, and still chose WNT. So that'll tell you, I think, everything that you need to know about where the players' heads are for the most part. Chang Jung Lin. Again, this is gonna come down to whether or not Joy is kicking players out based off of not playing or not basically siding with the WNT or the WPA.
I didn't even know he was playing, and I'm still really unsure that he actually was playing in Joy events. I don't think he was. I'd be surprised if he was. He's Taiwanese, right? Traveling between Taiwan and China is not a walk in the park. I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if he was playing. I watch all of those events, and I never seen him once, and I just cannot believe that he never made it to like the last 64 or something, where I would have at least seen him in the background of one of the streams or something.
Where do they stream those events to?
Yeah, it's on. If you go onto their Facebook page, they'll post a link every so often, and then it takes you off to
some
Chinese Facebook or Weibo or something, and then
did you say Weibo?
Or Weibo or something or whatever. What's it called? Is it Weibo? I can't remember. It's like Chinese Google.
I thought you said Weibo, like Nintendo Wii Bowling.
Oh, okay. No. Whatever it's called. Can't even Google it from here.
Well, okay. Off we go to John Mora. We had discussed with John Mora last week, and I sent him a text message during the podcast just to find out what his thoughts were. And he has a bit of reservations, but he's fully on board. WNT just has a few reservations on it, but
did he? Well, if he did say something to you, don't obviously repeat it.
Well, I don't. Yeah, that's
I think everybody will have a couple of little question marks in the back of their mind. I mean,
you'd be stupid not to at this point.
Yeah, of course.
Right? You'd be stupid not to.
it's not enough to stop anybody from signing a contract. It seems so. We could be signing our life away. Just don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
He's got a big match coming up with Tyler, right? Is it what are they doing? 50K ahead?
Yeah, this is Tyler versus John Mora, part 79. Always at Griff's too.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually going to be there for part of that. I don't remember the exact dates, but I think I'm going to Vegas on the 6th.
Are you going to that thing at the West? The what's that big? Is it the APA one they do at the?
No, I'm going out there. I'm going out there for some unrelated, unannounced business, so I can't really talk about it. But it's not to play at all. It's just to go out to do some stuff. So
cool.
I will be out there the 6th through the 9th. So the day before the Super Bowl. Anybody out there want to hit me up and hang out? I'll have a lot of open time while I'm there. So feel free to reach out. I just knocked over my pen. Dang it.
Pen?
So, yeah, I got a little pen thing. I just knocked my pens all over the floor. Anyways. So, yeah, those two are going to be playing another set. They've played a bunch of them so far.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Any surprises there? Not really, I suppose, huh? Move on.
No, I don't think so. No.
Oscar Dominguez, and now we get to the multiple ones. So we have Oscar Dominguez, Pius Labutis, and Dimitri Yungo.
All nailed on, I would have thought. All guarantees.
Well, definitely Pius and Oscar. I don't know a lot about Switzerland or whether they even have a federation or what it's like.
I'm not sure. I think it's obviously Yungo and Ronald Regley. They're the two main players probably. And Yungo won a W. Did Yungo win the WPA straight pool like last year or the year before, or was it the US Open straight pool?
I thought he lost in the finals to Mario He.
I thought he won it. The one at Q Masters in Virginia.
Yeah.
Is that
I thought he lost the finals to Mario He. Maybe somebody out there in the comments remembers that. I'm pretty sure he lost, but he did. He did play the finals of it.
Did they call it the world? They call it the world straight pool, but it's not actually anything to do with the WPA.
Well, it's not. It's not a world championship. Yeah, Mario He won it, but Dimitri Yungo did play him in the finals. I'm 99.9% sure on that one. It's not a world ranking event. It kind of goes in and out of being one, I believe, and I don't know exactly what the I would assume it's got to be at the added money portion of it that doesn't qualify. Ed Ladawi probably knows because I think he has something to do with that, either in the planning of it or because I think it's a BCA event. Like associated with it in some sort of loose way. But yeah, it's yeah, it's got the BCA ranking points. I remember that. But yeah, I guess I'm not totally sure on why it goes in and out. I would assume it has to be BC or added money or something like that, total prize fund or something.
Jungo's probably, in the nicest way possible, probably one of the biggest underachievers on the tour. He really is.
Oh, definitely. I would say that the two players that stand out to me as being the biggest underachievers is probably Dimitri Yungo and Dennis Graba. And honestly, I think it's a lot of it. Both of those comes down to mechanics. I think it comes down to holding up in maybe their mechanics fail them just a little bit in the biggest moments because they're both very loose with their mechanics.
I think Yungo's got a ton of natural ability though, so I'd say he hits the ball really well and he's good. He's a good curist overall, I would say.
I agree. Yeah,
yeah, I'm not sure what it is, but he's someone I would like to see winning just to prove that I was right when I said he had a ton of ability.
Well, I feel the same way about Dennis.
Yeah.
Mostly because he's one of the only players out there on tour that happily buys drinks.
Oh, really?
Kind of guy. Yeah. Dennis Grab will buy. Yeah, he'll buy you a drink. Might even buy me a drink for saying he buys a drink. Now all the fans are going to follow him around to the bars and be like, "Can I have a drink?" Michael Feliciano, the only Filipino that is signed thus far. Bit of a surprise on that one, huh? No, not. I don't. I think it's a surprise more Filipinos aren't signing, but I have to assume it's got to be travel costs related. I mean, do you really want to remove yourself from all of the events if you're struggling to get to all of them money wise?
If you talk about the Filipinos that we know, and Feliciano, some people might have known about him. I didn't know about him until he got to the final of one of those events.
Yeah, I knew about him, but I mean, it's one of those things where it's like it's a little bit like the Polish players, where it's like, well, actually, probably the Polish players on steroids, right? It's like you could run a giant tournament and throw 20 Filipinos in there that you've never even heard of, you didn't even know existed, and there's going to be 2 or 3 of them in the final 16.
Yeah,
and then you completely change out the next tournament, a new 20 players that you've never heard of. 2 or 3 are going to be in the final 16, right? It's just
yeah. So it's good that he is. Obviously, I mean, it would be surprising, I guess, if Aranis and Okolo did, because 2 of the, I think there's going to be another major. That's what the talk is. 2 of them are going to be in America, right? So.
Well, I know that there's going to be at least 3. There's at least 3 events in the U.S. this year.
Yeah, are you including Mosconi?
Yes.
You said 3 majors. Yeah, 3 big.
There's 3 events. 3 events.
Well,
yeah.
Well, it's more than that, right? Because there's 40 events on the tour. There's going to be like 10.
No, I just mean Matchroom ran events. So actually, Matchroom
events. Yeah.
So obviously the U.S. Open, and then obviously the Mosconi Cup.
Yeah. Should we have what do we think the other one's going to be called? North American Open? I think it's going to be called the Vegas Open. We're going to get to go back to Vegas. That's what I'm hoping.
I can't say anything.
Do you know something?
What would I know? All right, so let's move on. I can't. I'll get yelled at. The Golden Tiger, Dang Jinhu.
I only seen him once, but he was fucking brilliant, wasn't he? So
the first official Chinese player. Yep.
Yeah, it's good that he's back. Hopefully, he plays more events.
I just don't understand. I honestly expected 0 Chinese players to sign, and I expected 0 Chinese players to sign because how many? I mean, what there was maybe like 3 events last year where Chinese players played. I mean, they played the Spanish Open. I would actually have to take a look at the actual the signups, but I don't.
Probably Chinese players in all of them, to be fair, in all the majors. Definitely
probably not Chinese players that are living in China. Do you remember seeing a single Chinese player at the UK Open, the European Open, or the US Open? I mean, you definitely went to all those, right? Did you see any there?
I can't remember where I saw Wu Cha-Ching. I can't remember where I saw.
That was the Spanish Open. That was the event that Dang.
Okay.
Was that?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there was. I don't think if there was more than 3 events that there was a Chinese player that actually lived in China, that was at, I'd be surprised. So I was really surprised to see them actually sign any. It's good for the players. Chinese players not playing in the events makes those events significantly easier. They have a lot of really good ones.
I don't really know any apart from Wu, to be honest. Obviously, Dang now, but I don't know many other. I get confused with the ones that are from Taiwan and the ones that are from China. Even though Wu Cha-Ching is from Taiwan, right? But he lives in China. And now he plays for China, but he's actually from Taiwan.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but some of the others, I'm not sure.
All right, so then the next 4, Elliot Sanderson, Imran Majid, and Oliver Solnaki. Nobody else on that post worth mentioning.
Yeah, nobody else on that one.
And Mr. Chris Alexander. That's you.
Yeah.
That's you, buddy. You're announced. How did it feel?
Nothing really.
Nothing really.
Bit embarrassing, but that's about it.
What I want to know is where the hell is your Cue It Up patch?
I'd imagine it's in the post with my Manscaped that you said you were sending me years ago. What else you sending me? Everything else you promised me basically for years that you've never sent me. Take that down, for fuck's sake.
You're so cute, though. Look at you.
No.
38 years old. Holy buckets.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah. Did you take your heart medication today?
Today? No, I forgot
it. You look good, buddy. You look good.
There's no surprises, though, out of the other three guys, I wouldn't say.
No, there's nothing for the players in England that they wouldn't be able to play in, right?
Imran probably underachieves overall. He's one of those guys that probably underachieves. He probably should have won a major at some point. But hopefully this gets him back into it where he's playing hard again.
Well, he's been in the deep in a lot of tournaments recently.
Yeah.
A lot of tournaments.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, he's been to a couple of last 16s of majors over the last few years. He might have, maybe he was in the quarters of the US Open in 2019.
I know he had a very deep run in the UK Open.
Jeff DeLuna knocked him out in the US Open. I can't remember what round it was. It was 16 or quarters. But he's somebody that's underachieved overall, you'd have to say. And maybe that's because of where he lives. But he's still got a lot of pool left in it. He hasn't declined or anything. I wouldn't say. He's still got a lot left to
Sneaky
achieve.
Old, though.
Sorry?
Sneaky old.
Sneaky old, yeah.
51 years old.
Yeah. So
he looks good for his age.
He can do a lot. He can do a lot more. I know he's trying to look after himself a bit better and things, over the last few years. I definitely think he's somebody that can get to a semi or a final for sure. He's got so much knowledge and experience from over the years of playing. He's played so much Euro Tour, and he used to travel to America a lot when he was younger. So he's got a lot left in the locker. I'd say that.
Yep. All right. So then next on, Mohammed Sufi.
Yep, it's a good one. Good one.
I heard he gets his money.
Yeah, gets his money off whoever had it. Hopefully that's all resolved for him, and he can compete again.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to blast people on Facebook to let them know how big of a pile of crap some people are in this game. All right, next off, we have Abdullah Al Yusuf.
Yeah.
This is another multiple one. Yanni Yuski, Robbie Capito, and Emil Andre Gangflat.
He's player M. He's
quite a good player.
Yeah, he's going to be a great player. I'm sure of that. He's got to be about the same age as Moritz, maybe a bit younger.
20, yep.
But he's got a ton of ability.
Mm-hmm. Everybody
really good.
Actually, this is this. Speaking of like obviously Emil's very young, and even Robbie's very young too. But this is kind of a underachiever grouping too. That probably because Yanni has just a stupid amount of talent too, and he's like so fearless when he's playing his matches. Man, if you ever sit down and watch him play, it's actually really he's a very entertaining player. I love the way he plays the game.
Yeah.
And Abdullah, go back to what was it, the World 9 ball about 2 years ago. He was just running through everybody, and that was kind of like his it's kind of like his introduction to pool, and then he's kind of done nothing since.
That's when he was tubbier though, right? So he's lost all that weight and his form is off the cliff.
So, yeah, he was probably 80 pounds heavier then.
Yeah,
my guess.
It's no exaggeration. So it just goes to show you what like that can do to your mechanics, and it's just weird.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, semis of the world. Yanni got to the quarters maybe of the US Open. Did Melling beat him the year before last? Maybe. So yeah, there's all those guys especially Emil. He's gonna win something at some point. I bet my house on
certainly,
that.
Yeah, certainly. I think Robbie Capito's got a really, really promising future too.
He confuses me.
He's made a couple finals.
He confuses me because sometimes when I see him at tournaments, he looks massively unhappy. Like he just doesn't want to be there when he's playing.
I think it's I think, and I know Robbie like a decent amount. I've spoken with him a few times. I think with him, I think he's a little just a bit more quiet and doesn't like the social aspects.
I don't mean like I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if I sit down and watch one of his games, his face is tripping him. He just doesn't look happy, and I don't know whether that is derived from an attitude.
Wait, does this mean that you can be happy while playing pool?
But if you got, if you can't keep your head straight, you're not going to do anything, are you? But he confuses me because sometimes I see him play and I think he looks when he's down on the ball, when he's striking the ball, he can look flawless, and then other times he can look like he's maybe stepped into the shot a bit quick, or he's playing not a weird rhythm. Sometimes he looks like he's maybe forcing it a little bit, or it's hard to explain. But yeah, he has got a load of ability, but it just remains to be seen whether it translates into a big win or not.
Yeah. All right, next up, I mean, this is a surprise to me, but I guess there's no downside to it, I guess. Gary Wilson.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's no downside to him signing. I mean, it's not like snooker has anything to do with the WN or the WPA, so why not?
I think Matchroom probably would have thought by this stage they might have had, by the time Matchroom in their 3 or 5 year plan were professionalizing things, they probably would have imagined they would have had 4 or 5 of the snooker guys on there, and Gary might not have been one of the names they were thinking of.
Yeah, probably not.
So
I mean, I know that they were hoping for Judd Trump to stay over a little while longer.
Yeah, but
I would assume, anyways.
The prize money just isn't there to attract maybe the top 8 guys. Yeah, I think Gary will be a top 8 snooker player in the next couple of seasons. I think he will. But yeah, it's good to have him across from where the first time I seen him play to where he is now. He's a lot more confident when he's playing pool now.
Sure.
There's not so much of a surprise. And I think the first tournament he played, the UK Open a few years ago, I think he might have only practiced for a day or two with a cue that wasn't his and all of that sort of stuff. So
kind of sounds like you, doesn't it?
I actually played him in that tournament, and he played so shit that I beat him. So there you go. Things have only got better for him since then.
Yeah. Well, all right, off we go. Riku is a signed player.
Yeah.
Riku Rompinen. What do you think?
Yeah. Good. It's
16
good to have
years old.
Yeah, it's good to have one of the really, really young lads on there, especially because I think when at the majors where they have the junior tournament as well, I'm pretty sure he ducks them and plays in the main men's event instead.
Well, yeah. So it's I think because Sam Henderson at the U.S. Open played in the juniors and then he played in the main draw, and he had to play. Sam Henderson had to play BJ Ushery to get into the final 64.
Mm-hmm.
When BJ decided it'd be a good idea to shark a 16-year-old. So actually, he was 15 at the time. No, that was his birthday. He played him on his birthday. And BJ decided it'd be a good idea to start sharking a 15-year-old, 16-year-old that day to have a chance of winning. And if Sam would have won that match, he wasn't allowed into the juniors because he still was in the main draw. So that would have been probably the situation with Riku as well. And maybe when he was playing these events that because I think he did play the US or the SVB Open, the inaugural one. I'm pretty sure.
The inaugural one. Okay. I didn't think he had played in any of them.
I think the inaugural one he did, the very first one, but I don't think he played this last year.
But anyway, he's more than up for playing a man's game, coming and playing all the men. He's got
he's got great scalps. He's already has some great scalps. I know he beat Sky Woodward at the Las Vegas Open last year in straight sets, like 4-1, 4-3 or something like that.
He had one shocking result I seen. He had one really, really bad result. He lost against this Scottish guy in Germany last year.
Was that you?
No.
Not that you're Scottish, but
yeah, he lost to Jim.
Jim beat him?
Yeah. Which obviously
he might as well just retire. His career's over.
Well, that kid might play for another 40 years, and that might be the worst result he's ever going to have on his CV. So he's hit the low point. Everything else is is gravy from here on in. So,
well, unless he finds a way to lose to me at an event, that'd be the only thing that'd make it worse for him. Oh, that's rough stuff. All right, I do kind of find it funny that he gets his own post, though. I mean, the people who are getting their own posts at this point are Gary Wilson, Muhammad Sufi. Well, I guess that was before they really started doing doubles. But,
whatever way,
they give him his own post.
Way to do it. That's good. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Future star. All right, and then we have Omar Al Shaheen. We got Masato Yoshioka.
I didn't think Omar would, to be honest. I didn't think he would.
Mickey Krause and Chris Reinhold. Well, Omar's not playing much pool.
Yeah,
I know that.
He's got something else going on this afternoon, right?
Well, without going too deep into his life, he's had a rough stretch of the last couple of years, I think, and I think that's kind of directed his focus away from pool. You still see him out there every now and then, but I think, again, this is one of those players that has very. I mean, I don't want to. I mean, if somebody as good as he is, it's kind of stupid for me to say that but I mean, he has very, very bad mechanics that he makes work really, really, really well. Kind of like a Muhammad Sufi, right? I mean, it's like,
it's an American style of playing, though, isn't it? Like American.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But like his mechanics, I just don't feel like they hold up well if your timing. Like, you can have the worst mechanics in the world as long as your timing is good. When you're coming through on the ball, your timing has got to be pinpoint. And if you're not playing a lot of pool, that timing is really hard to square up the ball coming through.
Yeah.
So, I still think that he has all the talent in the world to be that like high level player that he was for about a 2-year stretch. But he's only 31 years old. I mean, he can get it back anytime he wants.
Yep, agreed. Yeah, he definitely can.
Anyone else a surprise in there?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, the Chris Reinhold one doesn't surprise me. But I mean, he kind of goes in and out of playing a lot of pool too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, why would you want to give up your spot, right?
Sorry?
I said, why would you want to give up your spot, right? You got to keep that as so. And that catches us up on all of the players that have signed since. So, I mean, there's not a lot of players who haven't signed yet that might. We're getting up there.
So, two that I thought we would have absolutely seen by now, and they're in the young up and coming bracket as well, are Atencio and oh man, Vitaly Patsura. I thought we definitely would have seen those two guys.
Vitaly probably has. He might just be one of those multiple post kind of guys.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and there's still some other guys as well there that you'd hope.
I mean, Johan Chua, Jeffrey Ignacio. I mean, there's a ton of Filipinos, right?
Well, I'm just putting the Filipinos aside because who freaking knows at this point? Like who knows?
There's one player too that I was thinking that. Well, it'll come back to me in a second, but I mean, basically all of the players that we thought might not sign because of their federation, most of them have signed. The Germans, the Dutch, a lot of Polish players.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. Did they say anything about? I know he'll play Delgado. Spanish Delgado, not Filipino.
Oh yeah. Jose. Carlos Logan. I don't. Yeah, I guess I didn't see anything on here yet.
He'll definitely be one of them for sure.
Obviously. I would have to assume.
Yeah, I mean, you have to put everything you have on him joining. Just looking to see if there's anyone else. Is there any other Americans you think could be on there? I'm just going to have a look actually to see where Earl was on the rankings.
Well, no, geez, I don't. You know how to get me triggered, don't you?
No, I don't think he's in the 1-2. I don't think he's in the 1-2-8.
So I'll give a shout out to Ronda Royal. She's actually quite good at keeping these things updated with the amount of players that are actually signing.
Yeah.
So we're up to 53 official signings, public signings.
How many? 53? Is that it?
Well, that's goes back to like the Emil one. So up to Mohammed Sufi. So we're probably at about 60 now because
Okay.
we have another round of Riku and Gary Wilson that she hasn't gotten to. So 53, 54, 55, 6, 7, 8, and 60.
What about Americans? Are there any in there that you think won't?
Well, the entire Mosconi Cup team is now announced, as well as basically the next like 3 or 4, right? Potentials. I mean, Shane signed, Sky signed, Fedor signed, Tyler, Shane, Oscar, Billy.
BJ Usuri. Who else?
BJ's not signed.
Who else would there be?
But I don't know that
he's already signed.
I would guess that if you put some truth serum into BJ, I think he's probably over Matchroom.
Really?
He probably I mean, I'm sure he'll play some events, but I'm sure he's done chasing the dream, so to speak. I'm sure like I know BJ decently well. Not decently well. I know him at an arm length. I sat down with him for dinner a couple times at an event, and he's I mean, he is what he is. He's a nice guy. He actually is a nice guy. But he's got this victim mentality to him that he thinks that everybody's out to get him. And I would guess, based off of knowing him, the very little that I do, that he thinks that he was screwed over by letting Fedor in, because that spot, he probably is going to think that spot is his, and Matchroom didn't want him to be in it, so they took it away from him by giving it to Fedor.
There's some people that think that Matchroom have something against them, and in reality, Matchroom couldn't give a shit who you are. It doesn't, there's very few people, in the nicest way possible, there are very few individuals they care about. The rest,
definitely.
Fight it out amongst yourselves. That's what it's there for. And if you get to the top, then they'll care about you. But there's very few individuals that they should care about or that they need to.
Yeah, and those are the people that you see on the stream tables every single match or every single tournament, right?
Yeah, but you got to maximize what you've got, don't you? It's not rocket science. They're not going to freaking. What about Hunter Lombardo? What's he going to do? Do you reckon?
Zero chance. I don't know. I doubt he's signing.
Sosi?
I doubt it.
Hoven Bustamante, is he American now, or is he still
Hoven? I think Hoven will sign.
Yeah,
I think. I don't think he's not an American citizen.
Okay.
I don't think he's an American citizen. I mean, I'm talking in an area that I don't know a lot of right now, but I don't think he's he's definitely not an American citizen, and I think he's trying to become one. But that the process to become an American citizen is not exactly easy.
Yeah,
and it takes a long time.
When you've got someone like Hunter who's gone to, I think I saw him every tournament I went to. I think he was there. So that's mostly overseas for him.
I don't know where he's at in the rankings. He might. I mean, he's played more events than most players, but I still don't know that puts him in the top 128.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So him, Donnie Mills, Greg Hogue. Who else?
I can't imagine Greg Hogue is going to sign.
Donnie Mills, he doesn't really travel that much, does he?
Not a ton. I mean, he plays his events. He plays his events. Is what I would say.
What does that mean? Oh, just the ones he wants dips in and out.
Yeah. Like Turning Stone, he'll play like the US Open, stuff like that. He plays his events.
Yeah. Fair enough. Nick DeLeon, he's in there.
Nick DeLeon will sign. I think he already has signed. He hasn't been announced, but yeah, Hunter Lombardo is back in 82nd in the world rankings.
Yeah.
Actually, I can go through here and just kind of go. I just pulled up the world rankings, so start looking at a couple of the U.S. ones. Yeah. Number 2, Shane Van Boning signed. Fedor Gorst, number 3, signed. Sky Woodward, number 16, signed. Tyler Steyer, number 41, signed. Shane Wolford, number 43, signed. Oscar Dominguez, number 48, signed. Billy Thorpe, number 51, signed. BJ Ushery, I doubt he will, but it's possible. I just don't think he will. I think he probably has a victim mentality, thinks that
But
he's
if he's
screwed over by them.
so
Jeremy
if he-
Sos, go ahead.
just on him, if he doesn't sign, it's not like he's going to fly to Qatar and China and stuff, is it? Or is it?
No,
So
zero
what
chance.
is he just? Well, he'd really be.
It's the same thing he's been doing for the last like 10 years. I mean, if BJ wouldn't have won that McDermott or the McDermott, I think is what he won. If he wouldn't have won that event, there's no freaking way he would have been chasing points all year long. I don't think.
It's the mentality for some of the US guys chasing points. It's so foreign, I think, to everybody else who's not who's on the world tour and that isn't in the top 20 or something. It's just so weird to have somebody who's 90th chasing Mosconi points because there's only freaking 6 guys ahead of him.
It only takes 15. Well, before Fedor signed with the signed with the U.S., he signed as a U.S. citizen. Yeah, no. Before Fedor kind of switched over to the U.S. side of things, I mean, $15,000 got you pretty damn close to making the Mosconi Cup as a guaranteed, and it probably did guarantee it.
It's just strange.
It's one tournament. I mean, one tournament in the semifinals, and you made enough to make the Mosconi Cup.
It just
Why wouldn't you chase that?
Because I'm not saying you wouldn't. I'm not saying I wouldn't if I lived over there. But it just seems like such a strange idea. Because I've heard a couple of the guys who are like nowhere near the top 20 in the world talking about chasing Mosconi ranking points, and I just think that's fucking madness. It's just if you didn't think about it and you just got on with playing and trying to get towards somewhere near the top 50 in the world, you'd probably just get in the Mosconi Cup, wouldn't you? You know, you'd probably
in the US.
Yeah, but it just seems so odd.
You just threw out a random number, like top 50, right? Guess who's number 51 in the world?
Is it Earl?
It's Billy Thorpe, and he didn't make the Mosconi Cup. Guess who's number 43 in the world? Shane Wolford. He did make the Mosconi Cup.
There you go then.
You throw out a random number, and it's exact cutoff.
So there you go.
Good work, Al. Good work.
But
that guy does his research.
I don't think I'm alone in thinking that. It's so strange hearing people talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But Jeremy Sosi, Hunter Lombardo are 81, 82. I don't think I don't think either one of them signed. Lucas Fracassa Werner, 86. I do think will sign.
He's a good player. Yeah.
He's quite a good player. Yeah. Greg Hogue is 103. Doubt it. Donnie Mills, 111. Doubt it. Man, this is crazy. We're talking about like some players that just have realistically zero chance at a lot of these events to make like really deep runs, and they're in the top 128.
Just having those additional tournaments on US soil last year, where it was easy for those guys, acceptable for them to travel to because they don't want to go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's
it's bumped them up, so they've got to play in maybe 10 tournaments last year. Whereas
this is crazy. Danny Olson is 131. He's 4 spots out of the top 128. That's nuts to me. He does we've barely seen Danny Olson playing anything in 4 years.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
And he is.
What's the name of that other kid? There's 2 other. So Eric Roberts is the black kid, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't travel though, does he?
To be honest, I don't know much about him.
He's a good player though.
We have a lot of good players. I mean, like a Josh Roberts type of player. That, I mean, I think the biggest waste of talent that the U.S. has is completely not playing anything. So second biggest waste of talent. Although I think that this player had the closest same talent as Bergman, and I'm just blanking on his name now. From Florida, plays a lot of one pocket events. Eric. Yeah, I was thinking. Did you say Eric Roberts or Josh Roberts?
Josh Roberts, I was thinking of. Sorry, not Eric Roberts. Sorry,
yeah, well, that's who I thought you were talking about.
Sorry, Josh Roberts. Yeah, Eric Roberts is not black, is he? So
no, yeah, he's young. Also going to have a future. That kid is.
I saw him at the US Open. I think that's where I saw him. He's a good player.
I assumed you were talking about Josh Roberts.
Sorry.
Why the heck can I not think of the guy's name? Oh, this is going to bug me. He played a Mosconi Cup for the U.S.
Shuffett?
No, not Brandon Shuffett. He's from Florida. south. I think he's from Florida though.
Oh, I know who you mean. Someone must have already typed it.
No, nobody said it yet.
Where's Ed?
This is a great show. What? This is gonna bother me so much.
Played Mosconi before, right?
Yeah, he's played a Mosconi Cup before in London. You're just gonna go through and look. That'd be a lot easier.
He's got a name like Justin Bergman. They've got a similar name, don't they?
I think so.
My mind playing tricks on me.
I don't know, but it sounds right. Danny Smith is another. Justin Hall. Thank you. Yes, he is the biggest. I think he's even a bigger waste of talent than Justin Bergman, to be honest with you. That dude will touch a pool cue like once every 6 months and just dominate.
It's maybe not right to say like waste of talent. They're obviously doing with the talent what they see fit. So it's only
that's fair.
Yeah.
I just know that dude is absolutely disgusting. I mean, he can touch a pool cue barely ever and still compete with the best in the world.
Yeah.
He really is an absolute beast of a talent. But what can you do? You know, it's I guess it's a focus thing. It's a focus thing. It's a priorities thing. I don't know what it is.
Exactly.
But
if you've got a job, you're making $500,000 a year, and you don't have to play, you don't have time to play pool, then you're not going to play pool, are you?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. I mean, it's probably sounding like as I'm being like a disrespectful thing, but it's. I'm not trying to be. I see Justin Hall as like literally being one of the greatest talents that I see in the U.S. today.
Yeah.
I mean, it's me talking up to him more or less than it's saying it's he's wasting something. But it's going to come across how it's going to come across. I just think that he is an absolute beast of a talent, and you just don't see him do enough.
What about any?
So I guess go ahead.
The guys from Australia and New Zealand. So there's not been any.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about this. So yeah, we got Marco Tauscher. We got Simon Singleton. We got the Justin
Seitz,
Sullivan Clark, Justin Seitz, and then Matt Edwards.
Matt Edwards, thank you. That was the other one I couldn't think of. So I mean,
and actually, there's only been 2 Japanese players too.
Who? Oi and Nuku Oi and
Matsuya.
Who else is there?
I mean, there's a lot of.
Without going back, I know they've got loads of great players, but they're all a bit older now, aren't
they? Yeah. I mean, yes and no. I just don't think the Japanese players travel as much, but there are a lot of really great Japanese players.
I mean, Japan and New Zealand are about as far away from Europe and East Coast America as you can get, aren't they? Really, they're about as far away from all of the tournaments you could possibly be.
It's a jet. It's a jet flight and a half. You know, it's probably realistically from New Zealand to, let's say, Atlantic City. I mean, you're probably looking at 28 to 34 hours of travel, I would guess, from start to finish.
I think Teutsch told me he traveled like 30 hours just to get to Poland last year, which is crazy.
Well, ultimately, it's going to depend on where your layover, because you're not going to get a direct flight, obviously. So it's a matter of where your layover is and how long it is.
Yeah, Teutsch. Is Teutsch even in the top 28?
Oh, he's got to be. Every tournament the dude plays in, he finishes in the top 32.
Unbelievable player.
I mean, we're talking about like talented players that. Naoki Oi is like very sneaky old. It's actually crazy. I thought he was like his early 30s. Yeah, he's sneaky old.
Well, like 40.
41, yeah. Well, I mean, according to Wambra, I think that sounds right.
Teutsch is in there. So hopefully he's one that if he signs, that's a good thing because ability-wise, I mean, Teutsch has got to be maybe in his late 20s or very early 30s, but he can win.
I think Marco's a little bit. I think Marco's is a little bit older than that.
I don't know. It doesn't really matter at all, does it? So what's the difference? It doesn't make out that much odds, but
I would guess he's 31 or 33, 31 to 33, somewhere there.
What did he win? The US Open 10 ball? Did he beat Shane in the final? I think he did.
I I know that he's had a couple really, really, really good finishes. Yeah, I think he did win the U.S. Open 10 ball, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and he was probably the best before he left Holland. He was probably the best Dutch player still playing. Outside of Niels, Nick had stopped by then.
Well, I don't know that he was far off of Niels either.
No, but I'm saying if you just leave him out of it and talk about all the younger ones, De Ruyter, Teutsch, and Bijsterbosch, some of the other guys don't play anymore. Ivo Arts, he was another good player, but Teutsch is just a beast. Technically, he's unbelievable. Technically, after, especially watching American pool, you can see some people that just they look like they're swinging a tennis racket or something. But he's on the cue. He's absolutely perfect. Brilliant player.
Yeah. So I guess we've gone this entire time without talking about the Derby City at all. So we should probably talk about that. But first, I think we should probably have a lovely little ad session here. So you want to know what happens when I get all stressed out and have to deal with you, Chris? No, you don't give me any stress. I can't even complain about you. You're like the easiest guy on the podcast to deal with. It's the rest of the cats that are tough to herd. You're about as easy as it comes across. That's no complaints about you. I go to my Magic Mind. I needed some Magic Mind. I feel much better now. I was really dragging it for a little while there. It's having a rough go of it. Just didn't sleep enough. Now my cat's meowing at the door, but that's okay. Because when I have issues. What?
I thought you had a sound effects. You were hitting a cat sound effect on your keyboard.
Can you actually hear it? Can you hear?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. But anyways, today was a rough day. This last weekend, you just don't sleep enough. You need a little Magic Mind to get you up and going and get rid of that stress and get your energy levels up, get the focus up. I take it when I need it, which is nearly all the time. It's either whether I need it for stress or whether I need it to get me all nice and riled up, because it works. It is awesome. It makes you super focused. And actually, if you're liking these ads, congratulations. You're going to get them for about another year because they're going to sign a 1-year deal with us. Isn't that good. Fun, Chris?
Yep. Brilliant.
Yeah. Or hopefully, anyways. I don't know if I can say that. I'm going to say it anyways because we love Magic Mind and we're hoping to live with them for a long time. So they're going to put up with us, which means I get lots of happiness. Maybe I'll send you some, Chris, or maybe I'll just say I'll send you some and then.
Along with all the other stuff you're supposed to be sending me for the last 4 years or whatever it is.
Yeah, well, this is the one that you truly want. The Manscaped, what are you going to do with that? You grow hair about as well as me. But the reason it makes you feel so good, it's got all of the ingredients you want. It's got matcha, it's got Bacapa Mani Eri and Ashwagandha and Rhodiola rosea and lion's mane mushrooms and cordyceps mushrooms and all the good stuff that make you feel so good. I should probably learn how to pronounce these things, but I can't read anyways. And if you want to feel less stressed and more focused, you can get it too. And luckily for you, we have our Lincoln discount, which is awesome because we're cool and they like us and you should support them because they support us. So in January and only in January, they will help you get geared up to crush your 2024 New Year's resolutions of staying fully focused. Do you have a New Year's resolution? Do you do New Year's resolutions in Europe? Or is that just like a US thing?
No, I think some people do them.
Do you have one?
No.
If you were to have one, what would it be?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Probably nothing.
Getting right with Jesus Christ. That's good. That's a good one. No. Don't have anything? Nothing?
Nothing.
Well, good on you then. You can get 1 month for free when you're subscribing for at least 3 months at magicmind.com/JanQItUp and use my code QItUp20. That's an extra 20% off, which gets you 75% off. This only lasts until the end of January, which is 8 more days. So make sure you hurry up before it goes away. Support the people who support us. Go Magic Mind. All right. Let's jump into the Derby City Classic. So Joshua Filler, I think the biggest happening so far, Joshua Filler wins the Bigfoot.
Is that like the 4th time he's won it or something, or the 3rd time?
I don't know if he's won it that many times. He's won it a few times. I know that.
Yeah.
It's Have you ever played on a 10-foot table?
Not
10 I mean,
10
obviously
not 10
you've
foot
played.
American table, no.
Yeah, you've played on, I'm sure, like a billiard table. I think billiard tables are 10 foot.
Snooker table, yeah.
Oh, the snooker tables are 12 foot. Yeah.
12 foot, yeah. What do you mean a billiards table?
3 cushion billiards.
Oh, 3 cushion, yeah.
Yeah, I think those are 10-foot tables. So.
Okay.
But yeah, Derby City sorry, Diamond. Whenever they set up booths, whether it's at like Super Billiards Expo or any of the expos in Vegas, they usually bring their 10-foot table with it, and they let you just hit balls on it.
Okay.
That table, it's brutal. I mean, it's like you wouldn't think that one more foot adds a lot, but
it's what it adds on in square foot, though, isn't it? So if you're going from like 9 by 4.5 to 10 by
10
5,
by 5,
yeah, it's quite a lot of extra square feet on there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of
It's a diagonal shot, though, isn't it? Same on a snooker table. From corner to corner, it's a lot longer than 12 feet.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's 10 more square feet, right?
Yeah,
9.5 to be exact, but yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
it adds up, and you'll find out whether or not that stroke is nice and square once you shoot those diagonal shots.
Yeah.
But I don't know, any surprises. I mean, Levan Corteza, great tournament for him. He's another one of those Filipinos that just seem to always find a way to get it done.
Doesn't really get the credit he deserves, I don't think, a lot of the time.
To be honest with you, I absolutely agree with that. I think that he's, you remove Carlo Beato, and maybe Dennis Arcolo, and I don't know that you can come up with another Filipino that's definitely better than Levan Corteza.
Yeah, he's tough player. I don't know how he does in the one pocket and stuff, but they're all good at all games, aren't they? But he's a tough player.
Yeah. Have you ever had a chance to play him?
No, don't think so. No, I'd like to. Obviously, he's one of the guys that you do want to. He's one of the guys you do want to play at some point.
Yeah. Joshua Filler's only won it once before.
Really? Wow.
So 2020. So they don't have 2023 in here, which is kind of fun. But last year Shane won it. So 2022 was Josh Filler. 2020 Jason. Jason won it a heck of a lot more than I would have ever suspected him. 2019, Cheng Jung Lin. 2018, Roberto Gomez. 2017 and 2016, Jason. And then Shane, and then Dennis in 2013.
Well, thought Filler would have won it more than once.
Well, he did twice now.
Why? When was the first time you said he won it?
2022.
Oh, okay.
So they don't have on here 2023, but spoiler alert, Shane won last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, every single year I feel like I keep telling myself, like, why can't we have this conversation of why can't the Derby City Classic have better results and easier to follow along with?
Yeah.
And every single year it just gets tougher and tougher and tougher.
Tougher.
Once you get the link, it's.
But they've paired up a digital pool now to do the streaming and stuff, and their system for tracking matches and things is good. But it's just they probably got it set up for 256, not 580 players or whatever madness is going on there this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely right.
The buybacks and stuff as well, right? So it's not.
Well, it's that random draw. So the format is a little bit goofy, but as a computer scientist, well, I mean, I guess I'm a mathematician that has a degree in computer science as well. It's not that tough. It's really just not that tough to come up with an actual.
You've got. But it's really 158 days to get it done.
Yeah, I'll get right on that. Yeah.
No excuses.
No excuses. Get out of here. So yeah, the banks are underway. The one pocket is underway. I think the 9-ball starts in 2 days, I believe.
Wednesday, tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think.
Is it tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow. Oh yeah, it is Tuesday. Yeah, I'm thinking it's Monday. We always do the podcast on Monday, so.
Yeah. Well, they're on like round 9. Well, they were on round 9 of the banks earlier, but they might have moved on to round 10 by now.
I would think so, yeah.
And they're into the one pocket. Sky's playing. It's a name I've heard loads of times before, but I've never seen him play. Dave Matlock. He's like a player from the 70s and 80s, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Sky's playing him in a bit in the one pocket.
Yeah.
Do you know why some... I don't get this. Fedor said something when he was streaming something the other day, that more streamers should allow other people to stream at the same events. And I couldn't get my head around why anybody would want to do that. But lo and behold, there's more than one streamer at this. And
well, it kind of depends. It depends what you're trying to do. Are you trying to build the game, or are you trying to maximize your own profit? And then if you're trying to maximize your own profit, if you're going to do that, then I think if you want exclusivity to an event, you probably got to fork out some cash for it, right? As the game grows, these are going to alter. Like, for example, the Super Bowl, right? The Super Bowl is streamed by, oh shit, I don't even know this. I think it's NBC. I think it's NBC that has the Super Bowl. But you know damn well that there are, there's Fox, there's ABC, all these different companies, ESPN that are bidding against them to try to get the rights to that event, and they're forking out millions, if not billions, to get this package to try to get the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to get to the point where you are going to do that, you're going to get exclusivity to an event, you're probably going to have to start forking out a pretty decent chunk of money in the future to get that exclusive rights. If you're not pumping out, crazy amounts of money for this, I don't see why the organizers wouldn't want as many people in there as possible streaming the events.
I don't see why a single person would pay for it if that was the case. Why a single person would pay to stream it if that was the case.
Well, then fork out more money and get exclusive rights to it, and then you can.
Why would you fork out anything? Why would you lay down any capital at all if there's going to be other people doing it for free? I don't get it.
Well, because that would theoretically get you exclusive rights to it.
Why would you pay anything?
Well, why would somebody pay exclusive rights to stream Premier League soccer?
No. I pay in there to go and stream the Derby, right? You go in there and you don't pay anything to stream it. What? So why would I then pay anything in the first place? What? It wouldn't be worth anything, would it?
Theoretically, you should get better matches. I mean, they would, like, obviously, if I go in there and I'm not paying anything, they're never going to give me Jason Shaw versus Shane Van Boening, right?
Yeah, and I'm not talking about the Derby specifically, but Fedor's been streaming some of his games at his own events, and he was saying when he was doing a practice session the other day that he talks to whoever the streamer is and gets them to agree to him doing it. But Fedor is going to be the top or the second best game in every single round. It'd be the top or the second most watched player at whether it would be the Turning Stone or the one that was on a couple of weeks.
In that sense, you're right.
Yeah.
You don't have to bring the best events to you if you already have the best event person. Like if Shane Van Boening were to do this too, I mean, he would get more viewers to his for free than anybody who would pay. Yeah.
But so Jason and Fedor have the same main sponsor, yeah? Fedor is streaming all of his games. Fedor and Jay. They have the same main sponsor now, right? Or they're going to? Yes or no?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's just say that Fedor and Jason have the same main sponsor.
In a hypothetical, theoretical world.
Yeah, I know, but if I'm that sponsor and Fedor's going out and doing all the extra work and getting all his games streamed and getting people to tune in, I'm going to say to Jason, you need to be doing the same thing.
Or you're not going to make the same amount of salary.
Yeah, okay. So then Fedor goes to the guy that runs a stream at Turning Stone and says, I want to stream all of my stuff for X, Y, and Z reason. Jason goes up to him, I want to stream all my stuff for the same reasons. Shane goes and does the same thing. Who's streaming that tournament? And who's paying to watch a stream anymore when you can watch all three of those guys for nothing?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm quite okay with that because I think the fact that we're still paying for streams in 2024 is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my entire life. If you can't find a business model that works at this point in time, that doesn't require people to fork out X amount of dollars to you, you probably shouldn't be streaming. I said it. There you go. Find a business model that works or get the hell out of the industry.
Yeah, I don't follow that line of thinking, but Okay.
Well, name me one other sport. Name me one other sport that actually is like doing something productive and growing and is charging their viewers to watch it. I mean, boxing used to be the biggest event, or the boxing used to be the biggest sport in the entire world. Everybody, every single country watched boxing. The most famous person in the world was whoever was the heavyweight champion of the world. Like, and then they started pulling it off of the TVs and they started charging PPV for it. And now I can't name 5 boxers in the world.
Yeah, I guess that just depends where you are, but
It doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't work to like exclusively pull your events or you pull your streams down and make you pay for them. It doesn't work. Might work in the short term, but it's not going to work in the long term.
but you can't watch a Super Bowl for free, right?
Yeah, you can. Any. Well, okay. So
Yeah, somebody's paying
Um,
for it one way or another.
well, you're paying for a package that involves X amount of channels, right?
Yeah.
So you're paying for a cable box. You're paying for something, right? Yes, in that sense. But what you're doing is you're buying a package of things, and then all of these people are negotiating that all these things belong to that package, and that's what comes with it.
But it's the same in the UK, right? With the Premier League, you buy Sky, a subscription to Sky. 50 or 60% of that money is going straight to the Premier League. Whether you watch,
Sure,
if you
of
watch,
course, yeah, of course.
50 or 60% of your total package of that money is going directly
But
to
50 or 60% of the people who are watching it are also watching that event, right?
Yeah, but you're paying for it one way or another, aren't you? A lot.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Yeah, but you're also watching other things. But what I'm saying is when you watch a boxing match, let's say you're watching Canelo versus Alvarez, right? You're buying that.
Yeah.
You're buying that match, and you're buying that match exclusively and solely, right? If you're buying Pool Action TV's stream, you're buying that and you're buying that only. You're not getting a package of other things. You're not watching the Golden Girls on the side in between your Premier League soccer, right?
Yeah.
In between Liverpool and Chelsea, you're not watching the Golden Girls.
It would be better than watching those two sometimes, but still.
Yeah, well, regardless, if you're buying a package, it's a little bit different than if you're buying just that event. I mean, anybody out there who wants to tell me I'm wrong, feel free and prove me wrong by, sending me whatever it is. I don't think that there's a single sport in the entire league or in the entire world that got bigger through charging to watch solely that sport.
Oh no, that's a different thing. I'm just questioning why people.
But that's what we're talking about here, right?
No, but what I'm saying is, why would you invest tens of thousands in all the equipment that's required to do it properly, and then have somebody else do it for free right next to you? Yeah, it just doesn't. Yeah. I'm sure there's an argument for it. I just don't. What I'm saying is, I don't get it. I'm sure there is a good argument for it.
I would love to hear it because I've never heard the argument that actually made sense. That wasn't about, well, I need to cover my expenses, and this is how I do it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's it. That's the argument. This is what it costs, and this is what I need to pay for, and this is how I get that money. I've never heard an argument that wasn't that wasn't. How do I put this? Selfishly covering your own expenses.
I don't think maybe it is selfish, but you don't want to be out of pocket for trying to get something to people either, do you? So.
Well, no, but that's it, right? I mean, that's the lowest hanging fruit is you create you stream a product and then you charge people to watch that product. That's the lowest hanging fruit. It's the easiest thing to do. The best people at whatever they do are the people who find ways of making money and open up the stream for all to watch.
You big sponsors and benefactors and things, don't you? But I bought the AccuStat stream. It was like 50 quid for like the 9 or 10 days of Derby, which is good value. It's five quid a day or something. And you've got your choice of, I think it's like 20 tables or something, which I think is good. I think that's worthwhile. But no problem.
I mean, but you can have a good value and it's still a shit business model. That's my argument.
Oh, of course, yeah. No, definitely.
It's I mean, Predator did it right. As far as growth of the game. Now, they had a lot of overhead and maybe they didn't set it up properly enough to where that they were going to be able to do that long term, but
they were getting a title sponsor every time though, weren't they? So they had like LG and then they had a couple of other people. So they had some big title sponsors.
Predator?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Michigan Open was usually the Cyberts Michigan Open. Wisconsin was the or the Vegas one was Alpha. The Puerto Rico Open was like that beer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't
But they're
remember what
good,
it was.
worthwhile. It was a local one, wasn't it? But they're still good, worthwhile sponsors.
Yeah, certainly. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, we could talk about who's left in the banks and stuff like that. Yeah, Modelo. That's it, Modelo Light.
That was it, yeah.
And then they had a few other ones for each one kind of had their own. I think because there was the Tucson Open was, I don't remember now. Anyways, so I guess I don't know. We could talk about who's left in the banks and the one pocket, but there's so many players left in it that it's.
I think there's about 20 left in the banks.
Yeah. Not sure who's even, to be honest with you, I'm not really sure who those 20 are or where everyone's at with rebuys and stuff like that. But
I looked earlier; it was all big name, all good names, apart from a few that you might know, but I didn't really know about.
yeah, I'm even. You have that link for it?
Yeah, I did have it, and now I can't find it.
This is some riveting stuff.
Chowan, Yuzhushin, John Demmett, Chanceline.
John Demet, that's he's a good player. He's from Texas. He originally is from Kenosha, Wisconsin. He's about a 700-ish Fargo, but kind of a specialty player. One pocket banks.
Filler, Roland Garcia, Gomez, Pinagar, Gorst, Mickey Krause, Michael Hinton. Oh no, sorry, that's different. That's in the one pocket. Sorry. Justin Hall, Troy Jones.
Justin Hall, we were talking about him earlier.
Yeah. And that's it. Shane's got to be somewhere. Shane's still in. I just can't see him for some reason.
Yeah.
Shane and Billy. That'll be a good one.
Well, I mean, the banks is always it's always Billy's to lose. Billy and Fedor's to lose, basically. And I mean, obviously they can lose, but Billy is probably the best banker in the world, and it's really not even close at this point.
Is that Brumback guy not playing anymore?
Not much.
He's unbelievable. It's still
he is, yeah.
It's one of the best things I've ever seen. The first time I saw him, I could not believe what I was watching. It's just unbelievable. But Billy's up there as well, right? Billy's got to be up there.
Oh no, Billy surpassed Brumback a long time ago.
Really? Yeah.
No, it's not. Yeah, I mean Billy is like, I mean he wins it. He's in the top. He's the best ever. Yeah. Okay. At this point, I would say Bill. I mean I don't know. It comes down to like the argument. What does the best ever mean? It means whoever hit the highest high, or is it whoever dominated their competition like no others? Like, so you go to like the sprinters these days, like in the Olympics, like who was the really famous sprinter back in John Lewis?
Oh, you're about
like John Lewis or something like that. I think. I mean, he's widely considered one of the greatest sprinters to ever exist. But if you put him in this year, he wouldn't even make it out of qualifiers. I mean, the everybody's just so much faster than they were then. But if you're going to go off of greatness and who dominated their field better than everyone else, well, then obviously he's got to be in the conversation. But if you go off of who's just the fastest person to ever run a 100-meter dash, well, obviously Usain Bolt is going to be the best, and the guy's not even going to be in the top 500, right? He probably wouldn't be. He probably doesn't have it. He probably has like a bunch of gold medals, but none of those would even be in the top 500 of the fastest times ever. So, I mean, Billy has definitely reached a higher high than any player in banks, in my opinion, ever. Does that mean he's the greatest? Well, John Brumback did it for 30, 40 years. So, it's hard to argue that his greatness wasn't there. Mike DeLauders, he's a great player from Florida too. I think he doesn't even. I mean, he plays good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say he doesn't play good, but he banks the balls like way, 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 way above his ability. I don't think he plays all that much better than 700.
Okay,
but he's definitely one of the top, 15, 20, 25 bankers in the world.
Yeah,
I would say.
I've seen him play the ring game. He was good.
Yeah, yeah. He's a funny guy too. He's like he's really entertaining. He's a bit of a he's definitely a character, and he's a showman. So he'll put like on these like little I don't know, exhibitions almost, where he's throwing he's taking the balls in his hand and he's spinning them around 7 rails, and he does it with remarkable consistency. It's he'll take like the best one that I saw as far as like talent is he like takes like 4 balls in each of his hands and he juggles them 3 cushions. And then he takes them and like he like throws them 3 rails and like all of them go in. Like he's with both hands, he's like he's juggling, and then he's taking the balls and like throwing them 3 rails, and he's making like all of them 3 rails. It's insane through like all the balls as they're like, because obviously when you have stuff like that, so there's definitely an element of luck to it, but it's wildly entertaining. It's if you ever come across him at a tournament, just toss him a $50 bill and tell him to show you some cool stuff. You will not be disappointed.
I played him in one pocket, I think at the Derby a few years ago. But yeah, he's good. He's a good player. He's an entertaining guy.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right. Well, I think we could probably close it out there. We're not really talking about anything specific at this point or useful. So, any events coming up for you?
Nope.
Just hanging out, not even playing pool because you don't have a table?
No, I went to hit a couple of balls the other day, and my tip wasn't on my cue, so I just threw my cue back in the bag and thought, "Fuck it, that's a sign." So,
is your table back to working?
No. I was away. I was away from home. I was doing something, so I thought I'd go and have a practice while I was away, and it just went to shit as soon as I saw my cue. So I need to get it fixed for starters. Be a good start.
It's a lot easier to play pool with a tip.
Much easier. Although I'd be better off turning that around and playing with the bottom of it the way I've been playing recently. So
does that mean you're in danger of being beaten by me?
No, I wouldn't go that far. No, you never know. You never know though. Riku did get beat by Jim, so anything can happen.
There you go.
Yeah.
What can you do? All right. Well, let me give a shout out quick to our sponsors that make this happen. As you can see, we got Littman Lights on here. We added them. We love Michael Littman and Michael Littman Lights. Littman Lights. They're the best. That's what I got on my table. And that's what I am happy to see every single time I'm at an event, because I know that the lights are going to be properly working and awesome. So shout out to Littman Lights. Horo Tips. They just re-upped with us for another full year. They are making some pretty awesome strides in the industry. They are kind of a relatively newish company. They are the best tips I've ever used in my entire life when it comes to breaking the balls. Chris, I will get you one of these because I can absolutely do that. When are you coming back to the States? When can I get you these things?
I don't know.
So probably the U.S. Open.
Probably.
Yeah.
No,
I'll have to send you. I'll have to send. It's probably so expensive to ship stuff over to you. Whatever. Who cares? On Board Sportswear. We love them, and you will too. Just get yourself some jerseys. Reach out to us at the Cue It Up Network page, or you can reach out to Neight Mindham, myself, and we'll get you hooked up with some jerseys. They're the best out there. Digital Pool, again, one of the biggest innovators this industry has. Salado, find your game. Dating app for pool. Awesome. You can make friends and shoot pool and get Fargo games into the system if you need them. Billiards Digest, best magazine out there. It goes without saying. Been going strong for 50 plus years, and no one's even gotten close to him since then. Insight Performance Coaching. If you're a mental loser and have no chance of winning because you can't keep your head together, Tara will fix you. She will. She's the best. Chris, pay attention.
Yeah.
It helped me. It'll help you too. I'm the biggest loser there is when it comes to holding my mental game together. So she fixed me. She can fix you too. Reach out to her at Insight Performance Coaching on Facebook or on, I think it's insightperformancecoaching.com. Tell them Nate sent you. And then Jacoby Custom Cues, the best cues out there. They are the cues that are in my bag, and they're one of the best industry people out there as well. They give back so much to the game. It's insane. Support them like they support us. Check out this ad. That's such a cool lad. Such a cool lad.
Yep.
All right, Chris, tell us a joke.
Definitely. No, not that one. No, I can't do it.
All right. Well, we'll close it up for the podcast today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.